Ahora. Pronto.
Yalla!
Rápido!
I got time for a quickie.
Big shout out to Vox Cinemas Qatar. They legit have the best theater in the country at Doha Festival City. And make sure you're following them on social media at Vox Cinemas Qatar. Now on with the review. Just Mercy is a 2020 historical-based drama directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, shot by Brett Pollack, cut by Nat Sanders, with music by Joel P. West. It's PG-13 with a runtime of 137 minutes. A new Harvard-educated lawyer moves to Alabama to defend wrongly condemned death row inmates, much to the chagrin of the locals. It stars Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan, Brie Larson, Rob Morgan, and O'Shea Jackson Jr. So the movie kicks off pretty quick, but it keeps you in the loop even though the beginning is meant to be disorienting. When I was watching it, I felt like I was in the truck with Walter McMillan seeing what was going on and being confused. And that's because it's a sobering story that reminds us how messed up America actually still is. But on the flip side of that coin, it also reaffirms how good people can be and how strong the human will is. I feel movies like this are a necessity. People definitely need to see them because it's a reminder that America still needs a lot of work. And if we put in the work, we put in that effort, we can help make a difference. There is exposition in the movie, but it's educational and informative. It also lets the general audience in on the struggle of what it's like to be an African American in America. A lot of people are outside that circle, obviously, so they don't get how hard it can be. I feel like having been raised at one point by a black foster family, being the only white kid in my school, the only white kid in my church, I feel like I have a little bit more of an understanding than your average white person. But even with that, I still can't fully know what it's like because I am a white dude. So I think it's important for people to see movies like this. And to a lot of those people who don't understand how life can be for an African American in America, this movie's going to seem far-fetched and, with the way people act, but it is what it is. This is how a lot of people still are, especially in the Deep South where I'm from. And despite the negative things that come along with living in the South, the movie does do a nice job of highlighting how beautiful the area can be, how beautiful the people there can be. They can be very hospitable and very kind. So it doesn't paint everybody out to be like a bad guy. The cinematography is intimate and effective. It won't win any, Academy Awards or anything, but it definitely does the trick. It's all about the characters, what they're doing, what they're thinking. There's no flashy movements, and there shouldn't be. But the movie's not all doom and gloom. There is some good wholesome humor in here that will make you chuckle and break up a lot of the darkness that you've been seeing and feeling throughout the movie. But even with those jokes, the movie just steadily applies pressure and chips away at your nerve. It just really, really grates, but in a good way. It makes you worry about him, it makes you worry about the other prisoners, it makes you worry about the lawyers, everybody that's involved on the good side. Every time they have a positive breakthrough, you feel really good, and every time they have a setback, you feel really bad. So the movie definitely knows what it's doing with your emotions and with portraying what justice can be like in America. It's not an easy movie to watch, especially for somebody who's not informed, and it shouldn't be because it isn't an easy situation. This is tough. This is what's going on in America, and a lot of people need to see it. People need to see this so that they can realize that Americans, a lot of the time, be they civilians, reporters, cops, any kind of civil service or something that's involved with the justice system, really abhor research. They don't want to confront the ugly nature of our society. They'd rather let things go on as they are so they can feel safe and get things done in the easiest manner possible. All the performances by the main characters are really, really solid. Everybody turns in serious, heartfelt performances. You will get choked up and tear up a lot of times, but especially when it comes to Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan's performances, you can feel that they knew this was more than just a movie, and it shows. And as serious and hard to watch as this movie can be, it doesn't go far enough. It needed to go a little further. There is a scene with an execution that's meant to relay the seriousness of the situation, and also it is true, this actually happened, but it doesn't push far enough. It's kind of matter of fact, and it doesn't make you suffer through it enough, which you should have to because this is a serious thing. People really need to see what it's like when an execution happens, and not just a little glimpse of it. They need to see how long it takes, and they need to see where they check the body and everything else. Because right now a lot of people are on the fence about the death penalty, and I feel like something like that would change them to one side or the other. And again, it can feel heavy-handed at times, but in this case it was needed because it's a serious situation. When the movie finishes, there are some after-credit stuff, some pictures, some updates on what happened to certain people with the characters in the movie who obviously are real-life people, but I feel like they should be right at the end of the movie. You shouldn't have to sit through the credits. It would do 2 or 3 sections of the credits, and then it would show a picture and an update. Then it would do some more credits and show another update. It reminded me of the Dawn of the Dead remake. Put whatever is important at the end of the movie. Nobody wants to sit around through the credits like it's a Marvel movie. There was one cut for censorship, but it wasn't that big a deal. The only reason I noticed it was because, as usual, it was not done very well. but it didn't affect the flow of the movie and it didn't ruin the experience. So I feel like it's a great movie. It's definitely serious. It does have a little bit of humor, but it gets the point across that needs to be said about what the justice system is like, about how immovable it can be at times, and the people who are trying to push that rock up that hill. It definitely needed to go a little further. It needed to be a little more hardcore, but I guess because they were trying to keep it PG-13, they went easy on the audience. But easy's not going to get the point across that needs to be made. So with all that being said, what is my score? Drum roll, please. 7 out of 10.